What's good, Guardian and Guardianettes? It's your boy Mace, aka Camille's dad, and I'm back with yet another build video for you. Now, this build is for all you hunter mains out there. I call it the ICEMAN Commeth. Alright, now, similar builds with the same idea have been out for a while now, but what makes this one different is one, it's using all of the mods that have been unlocked this season, and two, it's just more effective at spamming abilities more often by using a combo of current mods as well as mods from previous seasons. Now, a quick note, while I fully endorse this build in about 90% of Destiny's content, if you want to use a build like this in, let's say, GM Nightfalls, you really should consult the team. GMs, Masters, and even Legend Nightfall mobs have a lot more health, so the abilities aren't as effective against them. Personally, I will cut it off at Legend and use these ability builds more cautiously in higher end content. Now, raids are like Legend Nightfalls as far as the majority of the mods go, excluding the boss. So you can use builds like this in raids. I'll be posting another build a little later that I use in GM Nightfalls and soloing Legend and Grandmaster and Master, Lost Sectors, etc, etc. So stay tuned for that. So now let's get into the ICEMAN build. But first, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you enjoy the content on the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And if you a G, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I'm dropping that new hotness. Alright, now let's get it. Alright, so here we are, my sexy hunter. Look at him. Best hunter looking build. The best hunter. Alright, so this is a Revenant build. So we are going to talk about the subclass really quickly here. We're going to talk about the abilities, the aspects, and the fragments. I highly suggest you go and complete the Europa content if you don't have all of these. So let's talk about it. We're going to be using Gambler's Dodge because Gambler's Dodge gets you your melee back when you don't have it. The main part of this build is Withering Blade. Toss a shuriken at targets to damage and slow them. The Dustfield grenade is the one that I use, but the grenade's not that important. Okay, now we'll talk about the aspects. Touch of Winter. I'm only using this because it gives 2 fragment slots. It affects your grenade and it's not that important. Grim Harvest is very important. It also gives 2 fragment slots. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you and your allies. Alright, now the fragments, we'll go through these quickly. Whisper of Rhyme, collecting stasis shards grants a small amount of overshield. Whisper of Conduction, nearby stasis shards track to your position. Whisper of Bonds, defeating frozen targets grants you super energy. And last but not least, Whisper of Hunger increases the melee energy gain from picking up stasis shards. Alright, so next we're going to talk about the armor, and then we'll talk about the weapons at the very end here. Okay, so we'll start off with Assassin's Cowl. Powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of your health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of invincibility and the amount of health and shields restored. Red bars give you about 5 seconds, yellow bars about 7 seconds. Alright, we're rocking double hands on here. For those that don't know, you gain bonus super energy on melee kills and melee well maker. Powered melee combatant final blows spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. Alright, we'll talk about our gauntlet here. We'll talk about melee quick start. When your melee energy is fully extended or expended, you gain melee energy. Then we still talk about elemental shards here. Stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells for you. Does not apply in PvP content. And last but not least, we have Thermoclastic Blooming. This one is an artifact mod, so it won't be around every season, but it does not make or break this build. Okay? Defeating a combatant with solo or melee stasis melee creates an orb of power. I'll repeat that. Defeating a combatant with solar or stasis melee creates an orb of power. Okay. Next on the chest plate, none of this matters except for Font of Might, and this is interchangeable. You can actually use anything here, but I like Font of Might. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. Okay. Now here's where my build differs from other people's builds that I've seen online. I'm using heavy-handed. While charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, consuming 1 stack of charge with light. Okay, it has a secondary perk while surrounded by multiple combatants. Defeating a combatant with a fusion rifle, shotgun, sidearm, or submachine gun adds ammo to that weapon type. Now, this mod is not available anymore. You would have to be spamming or watching Ada and Banshee in the tower, because every day they sell mods from previous seasons. You just have to get lucky and hope that they sell this one soon. Alright, and then I'm using Invigoration. Invigoration does 2 things. Number 1, it activates the secondary perk on heavy-handed, but number 2, it reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And there will be lots of Orbs of Power around between the weapons that we're using and thermoplastic fueling. Alright, and last but not least, on our cloak, we have another artifact mod. Again, does not make or break this build, it only enhances it. Particle Deconstruction. Okay, this will dealing damage to a combatant with fusion rifles, linear fusion rifles grants bonus damage with fusion rifles or linear fusion rifles against that combatant for short duration. This effect stacks up to 5 times, so that is affecting your linear fusion and fusion rifles only. Alright, and then here is what makes heavy-handed go. Become charged with light by picking up an elemental well. If the elemental well element type matches your subclass, you gain 2 stacks of charge with light. So this will keep your charges stacked up high for heavy-handed. Alright, now let's talk about the weapons. So as you can see here, we're using Egger's Scepter, we're using Carter's Coordinate, and we're using Reed's Regret. We'll start off with Egger's. Final blows with this weapon generate slowing burst around the defeated target. Red bars will freeze, yellow bars will slow, and bosses will slow. When you kill or defeat these combatants, they shatter and a mist comes out that freezes everything around them. So every time you kill a mob with Egger's Scepter, that mob will leave behind a shard. That shard will track to your location because of your subclass abilities. Okay. Next, Carter's Coordinate. Mine has lead from gold and Vorpal. This is a rapid frame fusion rifle, so it fires fast with a charge time of 460. It has lead from gold, like I said, so anytime I pick up a purple brick of ammo, I also get ammo for this guy. Okay, and last but not least, we have Reed's Regret. It is a linear fusion rifle and it is stasis subclass, so both Reed's Regret and Egger's Scepter work with Font of Might. Okay, now if you don't want to use Reed's Regret or any linear fusion rifle for that matter, you can also use Ascendancy. The reason that you can use Ascendancy is because Explosive Light. Picking up an Orb of Power increases the next projectile's blast radius and damage. So you can pick up 6 orbs of power off the ground. This will give you Explosive Light times 6, and it will last for like 6 shots. So again, if you don't want to use Reed's Regret or any linear fusion, you can use Ascendancy. It works just as well, probably even better because it's AoE. Alright Guardians, now you have the secret sauce that a lot of you've seen me destroying the moon with on my hunter. Go forth and make me proud. Until next time, it's your boy Mace, aka Camille's dad, and I'm signing the hell off. Peace!